Greetings, fellow seekers of the unknown. Tonight I have a bone-chilling tale to share with you, one that will send shivers down your spine and leave you questioning the very essence of your reality. Gather round, my friends, and let me take you on a bone-chilling journey through the dark and mysterious tale of the Roswell Incident, a UFO sighting that sent shockwaves through history, forever changing our perception of the unknown. It was a warm summer night in the quaint town of Roswell, New Mexico, in the aftermath of World War II. Little did anyone know that this unassuming night would become the epicenter of one of the most enduring mysteries of our time. As a powerful thunderstorm brewed on the evening of July 2nd, the skies crackled with electricity, setting the stage for a night of terror and enigma. Amidst the tempest, a group of locals huddled under the shelter of their homes, seeking refuge from the relentless torrents of rain and bursts of lightning. But amidst the chaos of the storm, something peculiar caught their eye. A mysterious object hurtling through the storm clouds, leaving behind a mesmerizing trail of shimmering lights. At first, they thought it was a shooting star, a mere trick of the storm's fury. But as the object moved with unnatural grace and agility, their hearts pounded with fear and awe. This was no ordinary celestial phenomenon. This was something otherworldly, something beyond their wildest imaginations. News of the flying disc sighting spread like wildfire, reaching the ears of local law enforcement and military personnel stationed nearby. The nation held its breath in anticipation, while the world's collective imagination was ignited by the possibility of extraterrestrial contact. One of the witnesses, Bill Brazel, a rugged and weathered rancher, was no stranger to life on the vast plains of New Mexico. He had spent years tending to his cattle, living a simple and unassuming existence. But one fateful summer night in 1947, everything changed for him. As the thunderstorm raged outside, Bill took refuge in his small ranch house. The rain pounded on the roof, creating a symphony of sound that drowned out the world beyond his humble abode. Little did he know that the storm's fury was just the prelude to something far more extraordinary. As the lightning illuminated the night sky, Bill caught a glimpse of something strange and mysterious through his window. At first, he dismissed it as a trick of the storm, a mere illusion born of the restless weather. But as he stared harder, his curiosity got the better of him. Intrigued by the oddity he saw, Bill ventured outside, ignoring the warnings in his mind. The storm raged on, rain soaking him to the bone, but he couldn't tear his eyes away from the enigma above. Through the dense clouds, Bill witnessed a surreal spectacle, a peculiar object hurtling through the sky with remarkable agility. Its lights danced and flickered in a mesmerizing display, leaving behind a trail of luminescent beauty. As the object disappeared into the horizon, Bill couldn't shake the feeling that what he had witnessed was far from ordinary. A mix of fear and wonder gripped his heart, and he couldn't wait to share his discovery with the world. The next day, Bill Brazel became a man on a mission. He combed his vast ranch, following the trail of debris left behind by the mysterious object. The strange metallic fragments scattered across his land puzzled him to no end. Unsure of what he had stumbled upon, Bill decided to take some of the peculiar materials to the nearby Roswell Army airfield, hoping that the military personnel stationed there could shed some light on the mystery. Upon his arrival at the base, Bill was met by Major Jesse Marcel. The base intelligence officer at the Roswell Army airfield was a man of unwavering dedication to his country and his duty. A seasoned military veteran, he had served in the army for many years and had seen his fair share of extraordinary events. But nothing could have prepared him for what he encountered on that fateful day in July 1947. When Bill Brazel, the local rancher, arrived at the Roswell Army airfield with the strange debris he had found on his ranch, Major Marcel was called in to inspect it. As he approached the wreckage, he couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation and curiosity. Little did he know that this encounter would forever change the course of his life. The material in Bill Brazel's possession was unlike anything Major Marcel had seen before. It was not the remnants of a weather balloon or any known aircraft. Instead, it was a collection of lightweight metallic fragments that seemed to defy the laws of physics. As Major Marcel held the debris in his hands, he couldn't help but be struck by its extraordinary properties. The material was incredibly strong and durable, yet surprisingly lightweight. It seemed almost indestructible, as if it came from a technology far beyond our own. In that moment, Major Marcel knew that what he was holding was not of this earth. He couldn't fathom a logical explanation for the strange debris before him. It was as if he was face to face with something from another world, a notion that both terrified and fascinated him. As the military investigated the crash site further, Major Marcel became more convinced than ever that they were dealing with something extraordinary. The debris field stretched across a vast area of Bill Brazel's ranch, indicating that whatever had crashed there was of considerable size and importance. Yet, despite his conviction, Major Marcel was soon faced with the impossible task of reconciling his own beliefs with the official narrative put forth by the military. The initial statement about the recovery of a flying disc had captured the nation's attention, but just as quickly the narrative changed. The military revised its statement, now claiming that what they had recovered was a mere weather balloon. This sudden shift in explanation left Major Marcel perplexed and frustrated. He knew what he had seen and handled. It was not a weather balloon, and it was certainly not of human origin. But like a dutiful soldier, Major Marcel followed orders and stood by the revised statement. He was instructed to pose for photographs with the debris, which were later circulated to the media as part of the weather balloon explanation. Yet, behind the scenes, Major Marcel couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. He knew that the truth was being buried beneath layers of secrecy and misinformation. He couldn't understand why the military would go to such lengths to deny the existence of something so extraordinary. As the years passed, Major Marcel's involvement in the Roswell Incident remained a source of intrigue and speculation. Some researchers and UFO enthusiasts believed that he was a victim of a government cover-up, forced to adhere to the official narrative against his better judgment. In the decades that followed, Major Marcel continued to face questions about his role in the Roswell Incident. He maintained his belief that what he had encountered was not of this world, even as the official stance of the government remained unchanged. In his later years, Major Marcel expressed regret over the lack of transparency surrounding the Roswell Incident. He believed that the truth should have been disclosed to the public, and that the government's secrecy had only fueled conspiracy theories and mistrust. The sudden shift in the official story left Bill Brazel bewildered and perplexed. He knew what he had seen, and the weather balloon explanation simply didn't add up. He couldn't understand why the military would deny the existence of something so clearly out of the ordinary. As the news of the crash spread, reporters and curious townsfolk descended upon Roswell, eager to catch a glimpse of the extraordinary. The military, however, stood firm in their weather balloon explanation, dismissing the claims of a flying disc as mere hysteria. But the seeds of doubt had been sown, and rumours of a government cover-up began to take root. People couldn't fathom why the military would go to such lengths to deny the existence of something so extraordinary. As the years passed, Bill Brazel's life returned to normal, but the events of that summer night never left him. He remained convinced of the otherworldly nature of the debris he had discovered on his ranch. Despite facing skepticism and scrutiny, Bill never wavered in his belief. He stood by his account until his passing, leaving behind a legacy intertwined with one of the most enduring UFO mysteries in history, the Roswell Incident. To this day, the legend of Roswell lives on, captivating the imaginations of believers and skeptics alike. The truth remains elusive, buried beneath layers of government secrecy and conflicting accounts. Over the years, former military personnel and civilians came forward with testimonies, each offering their own unique perspective on the enigmatic event. Among them was Major Jesse Marcel, who had seen and felt the bizarre materials with his own hands. Despite facing scrutiny and potential backlash, he stood by his account, a testament to the inexplicable nature of the Roswell Incident. But beyond the official records and eyewitness accounts, there were personal stories that remained untold, stories of those whose lives were forever changed by the events of that fateful summer. One such individual was Betty Hill, a brave and inquisitive woman with an unshakable resolve. Along with her husband, Barney, they claimed to have had a close encounter with extraterrestrial beings in September 1961. The couple was driving through the White Mountains of New Hampshire when they noticed a bright light in the sky. Betty Hill and her husband Barney were an ordinary couple living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, with ordinary lives and ordinary routines. Little did they know that one fateful night in September 1961 would forever change their lives and thrust them into the centre of one of the most compelling UFO encounters in history. On the evening of September 19th, 1961, Betty and Barney embarked on a road trip to Montreal, Canada for a short vacation. As they made their way back home to Portsmouth late that night, little did they know that their journey would take an inexplicable turn. As they drove through the dark and winding roads of the White Mountains of New Hampshire, something peculiar caught Betty's attention, a bright light in the sky that seemed to be following their car. At first, she dismissed it as a commercial airliner or a shooting star. However, as the light continued to trail them, her curiosity grew. Barney, a pragmatic and skeptical man by nature, tried to reassure Betty that it was nothing to be concerned about. Yet, as the light grew larger and more intense, he couldn't help but share her unease. Feeling a mix of fear and wonder, Betty and Barney pulled over to observe the mysterious light. As they gazed up at the sky, they were astonished to see a disc-shaped craft with a series of bright lights moving in a zigzag pattern. It was unlike anything they had ever seen before. Panicking, Barney quickly got back behind the wheel and they continued their journey, trying to put the strange encounter behind them. But as they drove on, a peculiar sensation washed over them, a feeling of disorientation and lost time. Hours seemed to vanish from their memories, and they found themselves miles further down the road than they had expected. They couldn't account for the missing time, and their memories of that stretch of the journey were hazy and fragmented. In the days that followed, Betty and Barney began to experience vivid and haunting nightmares that seemed to suggest they had encountered something far more terrifying than a mere aircraft. They recalled being taken aboard the mysterious craft, where they were subjected to medical examinations by strange humanoid figures. Betty and Barney's accounts of their abduction experience were incredibly detailed and consistent, leading many to believe that their ordeal was not simply a product of imagination. They sought the help of a prominent psychiatrist and neurologist, Dr. Benjamin Simon, who conducted intensive hypnosis sessions to unlock the buried memories of that fateful night. Under hypnosis, Betty and Barney's stories took on an even more chilling and intricate form. They described the beings who had taken them aboard the craft. Beings with large, slanted eyes, greyish skin, and a strange, emotionless demeanour. Their experiences, recounted under hypnosis, included detailed descriptions of medical examinations, communication with the beings, and the sensation of weightlessness inside the craft. Betty even claimed to have been shown a star map, which she later drew under hypnosis, a map that researchers would later speculate represented the origin of the beings. As word of Betty and Barney Hill's encounter spread, they became reluctant celebrities of sorts, thrust into the spotlight of UFO researchers and enthusiasts. Their story became a cornerstone of UFO lore and abduction narratives, igniting public fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial life and contact. Throughout their lives, Betty and Barney steadfastly maintained the authenticity of their encounter, even in the face of skepticism and ridicule. They were adamant that something inexplicable had happened to them that night, and their story inspired countless others to come forward with their own accounts of alien encounters. Betty Hill passed away in 2004, followed by Barney in 1969, but their legacy lives on. Their abduction account remains one of the most extensively studied and documented cases in UFO history, leaving us to wonder what truly happened on that eerie night in the White Mountains, a night that forever changed the lives of an ordinary couple and thrust them into the heart of the UFO enigma. As the years passed, the legend of Roswell only grew stronger, becoming an integral part of UFO lore. Despite the government's insistence on the weather balloon explanation, questions remained unanswered, leaving researchers and enthusiasts eager for the truth. In the midst of the myths and legends, one thing remained clear. Roswell was more than just a historical footnote. It was a profound mystery that touched the very essence of human curiosity and the possibility of extraterrestrial existence. But the mysteries of Roswell didn't end with eyewitness accounts and personal stories. The legend of Area 51, an alleged secret military base, became intricately linked to the Roswell Incident. Conspiracy theories of crashed UFOs and reverse engineering of extraterrestrial technology swirled around the secretive facility, captivating the imaginations of believers and skeptics alike. Let us remember that the truth about the Roswell Incident may forever remain elusive. As the stars twinkle above, each one holds its secrets, and the vastness of space may forever keep its mysteries. But amidst the enigma, one thing remains certain. The world is a vast and mysterious place, filled with wonders and terrors that lie just beyond our grasp. And as we gaze up at the cosmos, let us never forget that the truth may be stranger than anything we can imagine, and the unknown will forever beckon us to explore its depths. Thank you for joining me on this spine-chilling journey through the depths of the nightmare archives. If you enjoyed this eerie tale, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another hair-raising story. Remember, the darkness holds many secrets, and the Nightmare Archives is where nightmares come to life. Join our community of brave souls who dare to confront the unknown as we delve deeper into the realm of real-life hauntings and terrifying encounters. If you have your own creepy stories to share or want to suggest a topic for our next video, leave a comment below. I love hearing from you, and your input helps shape the terrifying tales we explore together. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow horror enthusiasts, spreading the spine-tingling fear to every corner of the world. Until next time, my fearless friends, keep your lanterns lit, your senses sharp, and your courage unwavering as we continue to unravel the darkest mysteries lurking within the Nightmare Archives. Stay haunted!